What would be really interesting to kind of, since Michelle brought it up, um, she talked about, the fact that she, had a really big personal motivator, right? So, a million in the hole, and I'm sure there's some people that can maybe relate to this, who, especially even if they went through '08, 9, and 10 in California, or even in the Midwest, whatever, but maybe had to start over and had some motivation. So maybe just kind of sharing, who are some of the mentors, Michelle, that you've actually over the years kind of helped you to stay motivated, helped you to stay in the game. It's not an easy industry to be in to begin with. Everyone knows that. Being an entrepreneur alone can be very challenging for some people, especially if they don't have strong interpersonal skills or if they don't have strong um, work characteristics that are just, you relying on yourself, so to speak. Can you talk about a little bit about some of the people that inspired you or some of the mentors that you like listening to, or maybe went to go see and maybe even continue to this day that are inspiring you to keep your business going and growing?
Yeah. So I've received different mentors throughout my life from in different spaces. I actually used to be a pretty competitive swimmer, and so I would definitely say that from the early days in the get-go, they were my teammates, they were my coaches, etc. And I retired from swimming. I retired from swimming uh, in my mid 20s. So I did the whole cycle from college D1, also club, and I still do it. It's fun. I swim for US Masters every once in a while and compete every once in a while. And so those people are my inspiration. I know I'm speaking out of hand, but when I see people 80s or 90s, or those that are double amputees get up and like barely can walk, but they show up. People that show up and do it for their passion, for their love. I mean, they're my heroes. Yeah. So I have that from a personal side. On the professional side, I've been very lucky to be part of a community called RE Mentor. And I did ask for a female coach who happened to be kind of like the grandmother for everyone at RE Mentor. It's truly a family. It's very team focused, and it's a community that's very much built on how we can be of service as opposed to tear down. It's not, it's one of the few spaces and network where it's less about, kind of a prisoner's dilemma where everyone ends up losing. I believe that there are lots of deals out there. So, why don't we elevate ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
So
Great, thank you.
That's great. We have a question. Can you expand on how you bought your first multifamily with no money? How many deals did it take to get financially free?
That's actually an excellent question, Jasmine. So, so my first multifamily deal with no money, it wasn't necessarily the first one, my first completed deal, or the first one that I actually got into contract, because the first one that I wanted to contract failed. And basically that's more of a story of a failure and learning from that failure, to my second deal, which was like a small, like 30+ unit joint venture in Cleveland, Ohio. I was under contract for a deal with a partner. She had significantly more experience, and in the end, we had to pull the plug because what was said in the property description by the broker and by the seller was not what came about when we were actually visiting the property and doing our own on-site inspections. So I guess the rule of thumb is have your team and have yourself look at the deal in person early as possible, because the earlier you do, the less you'll lose. I ended up about 10K in the hole, which was a lot for someone who didn't have that kind of money. And I literally at 2 a.m, completely stressed, trying to figure out how I was going to pay the bills. And I couldn't stress about losing that money. Pulled up my laptop at 2 a.m. I kid you not, I went to Craigslist. I know it's not the typical, nothing about it was typical. I went to Craigslist, which they tell you never to do. But, I was tired and I was desperate. I looked at Craigslist, and it so happened that I came across a sales contract. An investor, Israeli investor, wanted to exit, was willing to do seller financing, was willing to, this was an off-market deal. It was very poorly managed. I knew the neighborhood because I was just in that city, and continued some conversations, and I bought it. Not completely zero, but with very little nonetheless.
How much did you have to give the seller?
25K for the contract.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. And it was
this? How many doors was this?
over 30. So between 30 and 35.
That's great.
Yeah. I raised the capital. I've been managing, co-managing very much. I've been very hands-on. And because of that, over time, I've had to fire property managers a couple of times because they weren't performing, and found one that we connected on, and it's been a fun ride since.
And do you hire management companies for your properties? Okay, you do. Okay.
Yes, definitely. I will only do the active property management in extreme cases, but and then to answer Jasmine's second part of the equation or question, it really depends on the percent ownership that you have of a particular deal. So a lot of people love talking about the big numbers, like I'm in 1,000 doors, I'm in 2,000, 3,000. But if you actually ask them what percent ownership they have of that, they might say 1% or so, So it really depends on how much ownership you have of those deals. And that pretty much gets you, so you can figure it out. You could do a bottom up calculation, and you could say, okay, if I can net $100 or $200 per month per unit, you would backward engineer what your end number, what your enough number is, and you could map it. You could backward calculate exactly how many doors. It's not. Yeah, this business is definitely not. There's no silver bullets. There's no get rich quick schemes. I look at it very Buddhist, from a Buddhist perspective of like planting seeds. So each deal, I'm planting a seed. Some deals and some properties are going to do better than others, and there you go. So I always focus on creating multiple passive income streams, even across the different properties.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, we're coming up to the hour, and I want to respect everyone's time, and especially yours. I know you're busy, and just wanted to kind of open it up again. If there's any other questions, Jasmine, thank you. That was a great question.
Yeah. With your permission, do you mind? I would love to make sure that my contact is possibly available for anyone.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you
have like to share your screen, Michelle, you can, and we could definitely take a quick look at your website, or I can do it as well too.
well, we can do that. Yeah, actually here, what I do is I'm big on education.
Okay.
And I do have, a section here on my website
Mhm.
that I would be happy to refer people to. If I may share screen,
Perfect.
great. So, to learn a little bit more about my background, it's you can go to about my portfolio, but I'm pointing out directly to the insights section because I do my own writing. I'm an econ nerd, as I mentioned, so I love looking at macroeconomic trends, et cetera, and sharing that with my with those that might be of interest. And so I write different articles, and you can just go to my website and take a look at the education section. Here's some trends on interest rates, on the Fed, White House policies, insurance, things of that nature. I have a tech background. I've done product development, new product launches. So I wrote a piece on AI and the usage of AI. If you want to stay on top of things, feel free to go to my website and enroll in the contact section, or set up a call. I carve out time to meet with everyone for a quick intro call. And whether it's deal specific or just to learn more about my background and how I can help you.
Fantastic.
This has been great, Michelle. Thank you so much for all the insights, because you actually covered a ton of ground, and I know that Annabelle and I would love to have you back again.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I perhaps for anyone who's interested, I'm always coming out with new topics, new fun things, as long as you can support my bad sense of humor.
Well, thank you so very much, and we'll definitely be in contact, Michelle. I'd like to expand our relationship here, and who knows,
Yes.
maybe we can invest together. So,
Absolutely.
I'm always looking to do that. So, Paul, thank you for joining. Michelle, again, thank you so very much. And just again, a reminder, we meet every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and you're more than welcome to come back, Michelle, whenever you'd like. We can definitely schedule that again. But yeah, for anyone else on the call, again, I have, multifamily guest speakers that are really doing something great right now that we can all learn from. So again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and good luck out there. Take care.